My name is Lucas Haller.
My name is Katie. My name will still be Katie. It'll just be Katie Haller.
Well, actually, I was at work and my buddy Jason called me and was like, "Hey, you want to go to dinner tonight?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm supposed to work till 10 o'clock, but yeah." So I asked my boss. She's like, "Yeah, you can leave once you get this thing done." So I finished cleaning at work and she let me leave. At that point, by the time I got ready, I was an hour late for this dinner. And I thought it was just me and him, and I get there and it's him, his girlfriend, another couple, and then Katie was there too, but I didn't know her at the time. That was our first time meeting.
Okay, how I met Lucas. I had a friend call me and say, "What are you doing?" And I said, "About to go to bed." And she said, "Katie, it's only 7 o'clock. And I said, "Well, I like to sleep." And she said, "Come to dinner with us." It was her and her boyfriend. And I said, "Okay." Well, then I get there, and then my other friend Morgan and her boyfriend met up, so then I'm kind of just like fifth wheeling, but like whatever, it was fine. And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh yeah, Jason's friend's meeting up with us." I'm like, "Oh, okay." An hour later, after we were sitting in the table, here comes this guy, and he was in a gray t-shirt, jeans, and his Adidas shoes that he wore all the time. And the waiter's ordering us food, and he's like, "Just give me the Terminator." And we're like, what is that? He goes, "I don't know, I saw a commercial for it." Okay, so then we ate dinner, and then we're like, "Oh, we're just gonna go back to Katie's house." Okay, well, he said he had to stop and get gas, but I was just leading everybody back to the house, and gas was not on my mind, because I'm like, done and over with, so I can go to bed. And so he stops at the gas station, gets gas, and calls us, and we're like, whoops. So we're trying to give him directions back to the house, but there was a road closed, and so he got lost. And he finally met up with us, and we were showing him the animals. Whenever we got into the house, this boy has never been around animals really much at all. And I had a cat. I still have him. His name's Jeffrey Allen when he's in trouble. And he was in a room, and I showed him my game room. Jeffrey brushed his leg, and Lucas jumped on his friend's back screaming like a little girl. And I was like, Lord, I cannot even with this boy. And then he kept messaging me on Facebook, and he just would not stop. That's how we came about.
I've known Katie about 5.5 years.
We have known each other since 2004.
What attracted me to Katie was, she's obviously really cute, and that, she's really straightforward, really blunt, and that's kind of how I am, so I know what to expect from her, and she knows what to expect from me, so it just works out great for the both of us.
Well, I could always have extra time to get ready because I knew he would never be on time. But I might have a slight temper. Like, I'm 5'3", but I act like I'm 8 foot tall. And he just calms me down a lot. But his little dorky smile is super cute. And he just gets so nervous so easily.
Our first date was we went to the dirt track races in Highland, and I never been before. So I was like, great, what is this going to be like? We went with Jason and Sarah again. But it was actually pretty cool. Yeah, I'm watching the car. I've never been there before, but what we always thought was funny, this fat kid kept walking around, and every time he walked around, he had a different bag of candy. This kid had to go through like 5 or 6 bags of candy while at this event. It was funny. We were laughing at him.
I don't know which one we consider our first date. We went to the mall to get his tux for our junior prom, and we ate at Cheddar's, and he did buy my lunch, so I don't know if you would consider that our first date, or I want to say our first like official date where we were actually dating. We went to the Highland stock car races, and the whole time he just kept asking me, "What's going on? What's that flag mean? What's that flag mean? How many laps do they do? Just watch! What's the checkered flag mean?" That means they're final lap, they won. Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Probably knew she was the one I wanted to marry. Just we were probably about like 3 years in at that point, but I don't know, we just flow well together at that point. We spent a lot of time together. I think we lived together for a little bit at that point. But I mean, it just was, we flowed together. We did well around the house together. So I mean, it just seemed right. At that point, I knew I was in love with her. So
He's very persistent, and I don't know, I always just saw a future with him. Everyone else was just like, whatever, but Lucas, I just saw having a kid with him, and we had Caden, and after everything we've been through, it still just gets better in the long run.
okay. Well, I actually had to do it twice. I tried the first time to do it at SAU, and she's coming out of class. I brought our dog Arson, which she loves. But she's like walking up, and this girl would not stop talking to me about Arson. So I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, leave? I got something to do. So this girl totally ruined the moment. But, so, I mean, it was a while later, because I was so thrown off by that. But, I actually proposed in our son's room. At that point, we just got a crib. She was barely pregnant at that point. But, yeah, I actually told her we just put this crib together, and I told her there was a big old scratch on it. So I had her come in there to look at it, and she was like, "Where?" And I was down on one knee. And I thought it was a good moment.
He proposed. I was pregnant with Caden, and well, he tried to propose before. So Arson, my Dalmatian, is my baby, and he brought him to SIUE one day. And he was sitting at a tree with Arson, and it was the same tree he gave me my promise ring at. And he texted me whenever we got out of class and said, "Hey, meet me at our tree." I'm like, okay, like whatever, I'll meet you there. Well, then there was another girl talking to him and petting on Arson, and I'm like, don't be petting on my dog, lady. And so Lucas was like trying to get rid of her, and I came up, and Arson was just smiling and happy to see me, and Lucas, you could tell something upset at him. So then we go home, and he keeps sitting in our nursery. I'm like, what are you doing in there? Like, we still have a couple months before our son's born. Like, it's put together. What are you doing? And he's like, I think there's a scratch on the crib. I'm like, no, there's not. It's a brand new crib. It's not going to have a scratch on it. Yeah, it is in the corner. Just look. So I went and looked, and I turned around, and he's down on one knee. And you could tell he wanted to say something, like a really cute speech, but he froze up and was just like, will you marry me? I'm like, yes. And that's how we ended up well, not really tying the knot, but getting engaged.
Well, I guess I just want to tell my wife that I can't wait for our future together and having more kids, watch them run around, and I don't know, just see what life brings. I'm pretty excited to spend it with you.
I don't know. He knows I'm already a handful. I'm sorry for all the dogs we're gonna have, and my hairless cat, and the goat I'm gonna have. I don't know. I don't know. Obviously that I love him. That's just obvious. Like, do I even have to say that? I don't know. I don't know.